Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Mystic Hots. I'm your host, Mystic. With me tonight is the ever wonderful, the German man himself, Tootie Moss. Say hello, Tootie.
Hello. Hi, how are you guys doing?
We've got a wonderful matchup coming up for you here tonight. We've got the number 2 ranked out of Division D East, Lubu, known as the Lunch Bunch, versus number 7 wild card winner, Zoljan Distillery. These teams have played before, and we've got that info for you coming up shortly. But we've got a lot to get to, so let's jump right into this.
Yeah.
We've got the updated bracket for Division D East with that was Jimmy and the Found Vikings playing last night. That was a 2-0 victory in the favor of That Was Jimmy, cast by Tootie himself. So how did that one go, Tootie?
Um, it was rather short, I think. That was Jimmy was showing a pretty strong performance, and whoever wins tonight, they have to practice hard to get That Was Jimmy into trouble, I think, because they had been very solid yesterday.
Yeah, I caught game 2, and I saw we played against That Was Jimmy, and they actually dominated us this season. And they looked pretty on point. They came out thirsty and hungry to make their way through to the finals there.
Indeed.
Up on the top half, we had Wood League and Mistakes Were Made, who played Monday night just before United East and Bancho. Both the top seeds in those matches taking the 2-0 victory, so Wood League and United East will be meeting in round number 2 next week to see who will
Yep.
go on to the Eastern Division finals. And
Your nightboard is killing a lot of messages right now.
bad night board.
Anyways, yeah. So Wood League also showed a pretty strong performance. I was casting that one against Mistakes Were Made. It was a little bit more compared to that was Jimmy. I think Mistakes Were Made. They gave a fight. They made them work for it. So it will be a very exciting match.
Awesome, yeah, and United East and Bancho had two very close games, but United East did pull it out, and they looked strong going into this first match here. Let's just give the old Nightbot a timeout there since he's causing some ruckus. But nobody cares about the bracket. They're here for the fun parts. So let's jump right into some team tidbits, and we have some fun little info from Lubu and Zoljan Distillery themselves. On the side of Lubu, they are known as the Lunch Bunch. They've all been friends since childhood, with the exception of Alan, who they actually met online in Heroes of the Storm several months back.
So now he is part of a family.
He is part of the family now. 5 of the 6 members, as mentioned, have known each other since middle school, so they've known each other a very long time. And Alan Hicks, in an attempt to talk big in chat the other day, had a nice little typo that we snagged and threw in here. He's a big picture man there. And lastly, their little good luck charm here is VDZ dying first. So if he dies first, look forward to Lubu snagging that win. This is their first season in NGS, but they've been playing off and on since Alpha Mode. And over on the side of Zoljan Distillery, Mr. Tootie, take it away.
Yeah, so Suji and Distillery, I actually know them firsthand. We played them last season as well, so they are in their third season so far. That's an interesting fact. We have never lost a game when we're running a sub. So I actually don't know who is their sub. Do you know?
That was only in their first season there, season 3. They don't have a
Okay.
sub at the moment.
Okay. So maybe I should get one then. And they made a list of Hero Pun related team matches, team names. And Sujin Suri came out, and I absolutely love this name. It's such a nice name. So they got a new support player, it seems.
They had a tryout for support players early on in the season, and one of the ones that applied, they played one match with him. The guy told me he only plays Bloodlust Rhaegar and nothing else.
Oh, so not even other supports, you mean?
Not even other supports.
Alright, so did they take him? I guess not.
I don't think
So
they did.
there's actually quite some family business going on here. Like some cousins, best friends from elementary school. So they all know each other like from real life, it seems.
Yeah.
Almost all of them. And I think that's pretty cool about NGS when you cast it, that you get to know all these little stories behind the teams, like also like Lubu, which know each other since 15 years. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and it's been real fun watching a lot of the teams kind of bond the teams as they play each other and their scheduling
Mm.
scrimmages or just hanging out in chat and all that. And so these are two teams that I've gotten to know pretty well through that method. Uh, didn't get to play Zul'jin until wildcard weekend, so we didn't really get to play them much, but they did kick our butt up and down the map. So, as I
Yeah.
said, this should be a fun match here. Now we're getting to everybody's favorite part and 2D's least favorite part, the poetry. So, if those of you not familiar with Division D East or who haven't been hanging out in the chat, apparently Division D East, Division D West, and Division E, who all share a chat, have decided that the way they're going to smack talk each other for the playoffs is through pros, with the exception of the two meme teams.
Which are
But
just memeing each other into eternity.
so as is tradition for the whole one match that we've done, we will read this and then I will set up the voting bot. Y'all will purely guess who's going to win game number 1 based off of the poetry that the teams have given us here. It worked the other night.
Oh,
They guessed correctly, so
this is like epic rap battle of history, just civilized.
yes, it is quite more civilized. We'll kick it off with Lubu's first one, then I'll let you take Zul'jin's first one. They're actually split up there, and then we'll get to the nice and big ones there.
Yeah, let me get my pipe.
All right, I'm going to kick off Lubu's right here. So, Lubu at number 2 is a sin. We soon face Distillery's men. Everyone knows Zul'jin blows, and that lunch bunch is going to win.
That's one pro.
That was
I
one
thought
pro.
it continues. Okay. Okay, so I guess mine are also two then.
Yes.
Okay, so here we go. Surgeon Distillery, brings the foolery. That's why Lubu be looking for the juice. Might just call a truce. Good luck to them in the coming battle, but it's time to practice, so I'm gonna skedaddle.
Oh, man. Let's knock out this other one because the teams are getting antsy.
We can do the next turn, but
Yeah, we'll come back to this one. We'll do the second
Yeah.
pulse before game number 2. We're going to move right along here. It is nearing game time here. Here's a quick preview of Team Lubu. There's their 5 players. They sport a 72.7% win rate and played 24 heroes over 22 games. They have 8 games played on Rhaegar that he has not lost. Their top hero, Dahaka, actually, I believe, suffered his first loss just last week. And so he is sitting here at 91.7%, and my stream is crying. There it goes. They have their top percentage wins on several maps, with the number 1 map for them being Infernal Shrines. And let's take a quick look here at the side of Zul'jin. And there you go.
Here, okay. You want me to do it?
Go for it.
All right. So we actually see, well, do you see the players here on the left? We see a priority on Stitches. I'm curious to see if you see that guy here. Other interesting heroes, I think, which we might encounter here are a Phoenix. I mean, the Phoenix Stitches combination could be something they bring out here, like the Wit with Befresh or the Wit with Nutcracker. Also, Nocebo stands out for me here. On Nutcracker, it's something we don't see too often. Then when we look at what their win percentages and their pick rates, you see actually Jaina very high priority here for Zul'jin. And well, there is a Morales. That's one single Morales Tyrael, so you know what that means. I don't think I need to go into the details of that one. And for maps, actually, Volskaya Foundry seems to be one of Zul'jin's favorites. I played it 7 times, and they won 5 of it seems, if I do the math correctly in my head.
Sounds about right. Speaking of Volskaya Foundry, it was banned out by Lubu, who has chosen to take the first map in this game number 1.
very wisely.
Zul'jin Distillery recognizing the power of Lubu on Infernal Shrines, banning that out for their option. So game number 1 will be here on Dragonshire. We have the readies from the team. Let me get that
That's a
verified.
very spicy first map.
Yes, going to be a great first map. Here we go. Give them the countdown.
I'm going for chat here. Blood for the blood gods.
Ladies and gentlemen, as is tradition, we're basing the first game off of the poems that were written, so go ahead. Tell us who you think is going to win as the draft kicks off. And I'll even put it in chat.
Only vote for the poetry itself, not for its presentation by us.
And here we go.
The actor is still waiting for the Lost Vikings.
Oh, I know. He loves those Vikings. We got Diablo banned on the side of Zul'jin right out of the gate, not even hesitating there.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely one of his more powerful maps in those tiny little shrine areas.
Yeah, Diablo can be a beast if played properly, and where we see the Stitches immediately banned out, we just mentioned it, like the Stitches Phoenix is a thing. So, not going to happen here.
Not in game number 1, at least. I honestly don't think we'll see him any of the games here. He was used quite effectively against us in Wildcard Weekend. And there's not a surprise right there.
I think it is surprising that they banned it, because they could have picked her up themselves. So basically, they gave their opponents a free ban here by not forcing them into the Kerrigan ban.
Yeah.
But it also hints at that they don't play her themselves.
Possibly. They do have first pick, so that does give Lubu some insight going into game number 2. And they're going to steal the Dahaka right out from under Lubu. I like that.
Oh, yeah. It's of course a global hero for Dragonshire. If you can do some global shenanigans. So let's see what we can do with this Dahaka. Maybe get some 5v4 fights going.
And he's a short range Stitches, so maybe we'll see DeWitt on him.
But he does not have a pewter for Phoenix.
That's true. We've got Kel'Thas and Rhaegar coming out on the side of Lubu, so getting some good zone control right out of the gate.
So it begins.
I love the Kel'Thas pick there. I'm not sure about Rhaegar that early in the draft. It's a weird commitment in my opinion.
Yeah, they must have something up their sleeve here. But we see Garrosh and Deckard coming out of Zul'jin. So Garrosh, maybe like a Dahaka drag into a Garrosh throw. There goes the Jaina. That I like that ban very much coming in here against this comp that Zul'jin is showing.
So Garrosh Deckard, if they do the combo right, that is a pretty long CC chain already, and then if Dahaka comes in for another drag, I mean, whatever they get in with, the CC chain is gonna die. Most likely, unless Rhaegar, gets the cleanse out at the Ancestor.
They're saying they can't see draft.
So maybe the Rhaegar pick is not bad after all, seeing all the CC already on the side of Zul'jin. Johanna is now being banned. But I'm still curious about that early Rhaegar pick. Are we going to see something crazy here?
The wait is over.
No, it does not look like that.
Not yet. Pretty standard on that front.
The Murden is a great hero for Dragonshire. You can just make a fast rotation with him and then land a Stormbolt. Kel'Thas is also like one of the very few mages who can actually follow up on that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a hammer.
Hammer and
Phoenix after all.
Phoenix. Interesting.
Okay, no Stitches, but the Phoenix still makes it through. Is getting picked up here by Zul'jin.
And now Nightbot is censoring the vote bot. I think I'm just going to turn Nightbot off. He's causing some troubles here.
There's
So
some bot
Lior,
interaction there.
going to be their solo laner, going up against the Dahaka more than likely.
Yeah.
Garrosh, Deckard, Phoenix, and Hammer, though. What do you think of this opening draft? This is kind of a tough one.
I mean, it's kind of two auto attackers here. I mean, if you count Sergeant Hammer as an auto attacker. On the other side, we see Cassia with the blinds. I mean, they banned out Witcher Hunter, but there's still Cassia around, and I think she will have a fun time in this match.
Yeah, it should be pretty fun for Cassia. I think if they can abuse Garrosh's ability to throw whoever he wants back close enough to Hammer that they don't have time to get out of her range, that could cause some problems for Lubu, especially for Kael'thas or Rhaegar. Cassia might be able to get out of there. I think it's going to really depend on how well they get that Deckard slow and stun or root follow up.
Yeah, but streaking, if streaking is on point with the cleanse and the ancestral, that might save the target. So I think it's a very interesting setup that Su Jin is running here. I'm not sure how much Hammer they have shown during the season. I did not have Stats of the Storm open right now.
I didn't see her show up too much. Now, going off of the poetry vote for game number 1, everybody thinks Lubu's going to win. So we will see if they are right. Based on the early drafts, I'm going to have to kind of favor Lubu here. That said, if Zul'jin's got something tricky up their sleeve with this comp, we're bound to see it, and they've thrown that kind of stuff together quite effectively.
Yeah, I'm wondering a little bit how the Phoenix will fit in here. Maybe we will see something weird happening. The third Planet Cracker, maybe? I don't know.
Not too sure yet, but we are getting right into this. Oh, look at them sporting the Garrosh. I love it. On the side of Lubu, we've got Strickwing on the Rhaegar, Alan Hicks on Leoric, Bandit on Kael'thas, VDZ on Cassia, and Makrota on the Muradin.
3, 2, 1.
And oh, you're cutting out for me on Discord, but
I'm sorry. Go right ahead, man.
oh, okay. So on the red, we see Zul'jin Distillery with some shenanigans here in the bot lane right now. David on that Garrosh, let us star. On that Deckard, Cowboy Kyle giving us the Sergeant Hammer, Be Fresh on Phoenix, and Nutcracker playing the Global Dehacker.
Now this is kind of the start I was expecting here. Taking the Hammer bottom, gonna just play the Protect the Hammer.
Yeah.
Let her siege away.
It looks like it, and Cowboy Kyle is actually going to get this turret straight away. I like it, but he does not even bother about clearing out the wave. He just goes straight for the tower.
So Dahaka finally going to zip on up to battle the Cassie up in the top lane. It looks like they're going to keep 3 down here in the bottom on the side of Zul'jin.
Indeed, and why not? They have the hammer. I mean, this seems to be their game plan, and the Keflas, he can throw out a few 5 strikes on Cowboy Kyle. But as long as there are no follow-up damage or any displacements, fine.
And first blood goes to Zul'jin Distillery. What did we say? Garrosh gets that one throw. And they're not going to be able to get
throw is all they need.
So far Zul'jin making the interesting comp work.
Activate the shrines and the
And if they can kind of keep this pressure up like this could go pretty well here.
Yeah, they have a gate down, they have a tower down. Cowboy Coil is now sitting quite out of range, but looking definitely for this next tower. Actually, the minions itself might clear it. They do.
So the archers take down the tower. Leo and Dahaka still dueling up top. Kael'thas getting the grab on the hammer, but she's gonna pop those shields and zip on out. Well, not zip. She just kind of strolled on out there. But
Phoenix in the meantime took the camp, so they can apply some extra pressure in the bottom.
And there's a good throw on the Muradin. It looks like his his leap was up. So good time in there.
Hero slain.
They do get the kill on Rhaegar.
Chat's asking why Lubu was using calculated throw spray. So we do have some early quests here on the side of both teams. We've got advanced targeting from the Phoenix. Gonna be getting those circle hits from his Plasma Cutter. We've got Warbreaker on Garrosh. Murden actually taking Perfect Storm. And Mana Addict from the Kel'Thas. And Dahaka did choose Tissue Regeneration for the extra regen outside of battle.
So, I think Lubu, they need to find a way to deal with this hammer here. So far, like, bottom lane is just completely locked down by Zujin Distillery. There's like nowhere for them in. Maybe the siege camp will help a little bit here.
Cassia and Rhaegar actually coming from behind there, but it's going to backfire on the Cassia. Just able to dodge the Deckard scroll there. And they're getting a little pressure here, and it's kind of funny when you think about it. They banned out Stitches to keep him out of Zul'jin, and who's one of the best things to use against Hammer? And VDZ dropping low again.
I mean, Zul'jin, it was their map choice, right?
It was Lubu's map choice.
Okay, so Zul'jin, it looks like they have a plan here with this hammer, and so far it is working out. So, pretty well done. Recognizing that.
Hammer looking to take this well out pretty quick here, which is going to just keep increasing this advantage in the bottom lane, as Zul'jin is nearing level 7 a little bit faster. Start Cassia and Phoenix going back and forth in the mid. Oh, Cassia getting some good hits in there.
Indeed, BFresh needs to be careful, actually. But there's not a lot of hit points once the shield is gone. Oh, Nutcracker almost got Irel in, but Leoric in the top. Only 400 hit points left on Leoric there.
Yeah, so Leo and Dahaka continuing their solo lane tango, as I call it. Hammer now has the hovering siege here, which is going to really make pushing forward here a priority for Zul'jin in that bottom lane.
And I think their play was right. They don't even care that much about the Dragonite. They don't try to like disrupt their own game flow by picking up the dragon. They just keep on pushing with that hammer. As long as Lubu does not find an answer for that, why change it, right?
Yeah, no, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And right now they have the answer to sieging without the dragon. They're going to make Lubu have to get it to beat them. They're working on the Garrosh there, but Hammer just kind of pulls herself up and fires some shots off, backs away, and everything just sort of resets.
Paintboot is writing, "Go Lubu, you are my favorite Division D team."
However, in the other two lanes, Cassia and Leoric doing some work. Befresh is low again, and Leo is driven Dahaka out of the top lane, so this is a bit of a chance for Lubu to pull ahead a bit. And Befresh actually getting down to 125 health before getting safely behind his gate. Dahaka reappearing in the top. Murden barely leaping out before the scroll can finish.
And that is actually super important for Lubu, that they win the other lanes. If you look at the XP, they actually have 1000 XP and minions over their opponents. And they need to get some counter value here. And if you look at the XP bars themselves, they are actually almost even.
Down goes Murden though. Phoenix coming in with the gank. VDZ is next. And that is unfortunate for Lubu, as Zul'jin made the call, brought some extra people down to get those picks when Lubu was finally getting some pressure on the hammer comp in the bottom.
Yep. On the other side, there was no need for Lubu to engage on that hammer that far out.
It looks like Phoenix is going to be making his way up to help win the pressure in the top lane there. But by the time this first dragon comes up, Zul'jin's is going to have this first fort. Kel'Thas being thrown out, and Hammer opting for BFG.
Red team has destroyed
Yeah.
the fort.
And down goes
Level
that
10s
fort.
are now hitting.
We got level 10s for Zul'jin. Take it away, 2D.
So Jins, they have had it for quite a while now actually. Purification server is here. We have the Taunt, of course, Lornado for Deckard, the BFG, mentioned it already, and actually Isolation for the Harker. So that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that's going to make life tough, especially for the Orc in that solo lane. I like the pick there. Lubu's ults are online. They've got Ancestral Healing from Rhaegar, Entomb from Leoric, Pyroblast from Kel'Thas, Valkyrie coming out of Cassia, as Makota gets punted away by the Dragon Knight, an avatar from Muradin. And down goes Hammer. That's the kill that they needed. Lubu's starting to swing things around here. I do like the Valkyrie and Pyroblast pick coming out of Lubu. Because one of those two is going to force Hammer to pop her armor if it's thrown on her, and the other one's going to do the cleanup. But Alan dropping really low on Leo. He's going to drop down as well. Muradin's next. And Lubu had that fight in their hands, and they pushed a little too hard into that Dragon Knight, I think. And Zul'jin cleans it up. Not much done from the,
here.
Yeah.
And I like the heroic picks, which gives them some tools to now work on the hammer, like the Entombed as well, Valkyrie, and the Pyroblast. So now Cowboy Kyle has to watch out for these heroics, and it gives him some tools to actually deal with the hammer. So that 10 was so needed for Lubu.
Very, very much so. And that team fight, though, I mean, they did a good job. They kept the Dragon Knight from doing any real extra work. They lost one tower out of the entire Dragon Knight engagement. That's with the hammer backing it up. As Zul'jin does take the bottom Knight's camp. Their camps are still up on their side. It looks like Lubu took their top Knight's camp, which Dahaka can make pretty decent work of. So both teams kind of back in the soak game here, but 13 online for Zul'jin.
Indeed, they do have one level advantage here over their opponents. I'm not sure level 13 is the one where they can go completely nuts now, but it is a little bit of an advantage. And right now they're probably doing just the camps, trying to get the pressure on for the next objective phase.
Agreed. I think if Lubu loses the race 16, they could be in some trouble, because once Hammer gets that extra hero damage added to her auto attacks, you can expect Zul'jin to really just start pushing bottom lane pretty hard. Or harder than they have been, I should say. But Bfresh in a bit of a bind. He's just going to teleport away.
Yep. Nice sidestep here on the Stormbolt of the Muradin. Stays alive there. Actually, I have to compliment Not Quicker here. He was dealing with a camp. 1 tower on the gate. That's very solid.
And it caught out alone again. Here comes the Purification. So Ancestral is going to be popped just to make sure he stays alive. Deckard gets interrupted on Stay a While. And Zul'jin is pushing in hard. They know they've got a few more seconds here with the talent advantage. Garrosh is caught. Here comes the Pyroblast. It's going to blow up the Garrosh as the whole team falls asleep. Cassia doing some work on Phoenix in the back, and Zul'jin opting to back out at this time.
Yeah, so during that fight, Dahaka stayed in the top lane, so they did not decide to go for 5v4 here. Garrosh pays for it. I think that's a solid pick for Lubu. Let's see if they can get something out of it.
Dahaka in trouble down the top lane.
Now in trouble.
Having to pop his essence. He's going to try to use that bush to his advantage there. He grabs the Leo. Here's Phoenix doing the cutter there, and it's actually going to turn around and get the kill on Cassia. So nice reaction from Bfresh there to get into that top lane and give old Dahaka a hand. Shrines are up. Bottom lane taken by Lubu. Top lane by Zul'jin Distillery, but now Leo's in trouble.
Yep. Yes, it's a great walk out of that run, but I feel we'll be fine. Phoenix is going. Both teams have one objective each, so nothing to worry about here right now. Cassia will be back in like 1 second. And this is always the point where you have to think about you have your hammer, you did your work, you did take everything down in the bot lane, and now what? But they actually do get the objective.
So Zul'jin picking that objective up again here. And boop, there goes the Rhaegar.
It's raining cats and dogs here.
It's raining cats and dogs, and that's going to give Zul'jin the chance to push on him, but Garrosh is getting a little too deep. Muradin's actually going to take the leap over, but here comes a big staying while. Looks like hit 4 of the 5 as Leo got punted away. Fireblast onto the hammer, but Deckard is chucking down those potions. And that's another sync we didn't really talk about early on, Tootie, the Deckard and hammer. Deckard able to just keep dumping potions on Hammer, who can conveniently not dodge them while she's sieged up.
Makes it a little bit easier, yeah. Indeed.
Phoenix caught,
Yeah.
and he's going to teleport on out. Ancestral blown on the Kael'thas. And Zul'jin keeping the pressure up really well here.
Yeah, again, it was a Dragonite supported by a hammer, and again they only get one tower. Well, they did get a fort. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they did get the
But,
fort with that one.
So it's a fort and a tower, which is not too bad. I mean, for a minute 14
Oh, look
dragon.
up here in the top lane. The Hakka's in some big trouble now. Murden getting the leap and the stun, and Lubu just needs to push.
That's a big investment for killing a Hacker. 5 people going into the top lane here.
Yeah, I'd
They
like
do
to
get
see
the kill.
them. I'd like to see them trade that tower and possibly the fort before these minions and hammer got bottom. But they're opting to pull back.
All of them.
All of them. As Zul'jin is taking the middle camp, or Lubu's giant camp, I should say.
Yeah, the hidden boss is coming here on the field. The giants will be camp, but the camp is already cleared out. Oh, that's a nice drag here on Letter Star. Oh, the counter
Big
sleep.
Big stay while trying to buy himself some time in that tomb for his team to catch up, but it doesn't work. And now Lubu is in the chase. They need to be careful. Last time they started chasing like this, it turned around on them. And then now the Giants are taking bottom towers. Those are down. Good map pressure in the top lane, but map pressure still really, minus that top lane, is all in favor of Zul'jin right now.
Yeah. So they did trade a key tower for a fort tower, which is not a great deal, but we also got a kill on the Decker. So Luo, they are hanging in here. They are on the same talent here right now, approaching level 17, more than a level behind in XP. But I mean, if they get another kill like this, I mean, this game can turn really quickly. But with all the structures still up for Zul'jin. If they pick some more of these, that is a big chunk of XP they have available for them.
And they need to start sticking to these 5-man fights, because look at what Leo's taking here. He's got Ominous Wrath and Royal Focus. Going to be using that Wraithwalk to really reduce the damage coming out. In particular at Phoenix and Hammer especially. And more so in the fact Hammer has taken Execution in a combo with the Deckard Cane there.
I would have loved to see some aggression on the Deraka in the top lane. They rotated 5 people up here, and they did not even try to kill him. They did just let him walk away, and now they are all in the top lane. And you see what's happening in the bot here.
Yep, there goes Hammer. Garrosh is going to whittle away at the wall. Leo is going to opt to stay top lane against the Dahaka, as Orisa Lubu does rotate back.
Yeah. And this is super important now that Leoric doesn't lose this fight in the top too hard.
But now here in the late game with Dahaka having the stronger out of regen healing and the pretty much 2 health bars that definitely have a much faster recovery rate than Leo there. Valkyrie snagging Decker, but he gets caught on the bush. That's unfortunate for Lubu, but they do get the
Still
kill.
blows up, bro.
But BFG taking out Rhaegar at the same time.
Yeah,
without a
support
healer-
for support.
Without healers, this could be an interesting little fight. Burden popping the avatar as he gets down, leaps away, trying to stay on the Garrosh, who falls down as well, but Leo dropping dangerously low. Trying to
2
Wraithwalk,
for
and he's going
2.
to pay for it with as close as that body was. So as you mentioned, 2 for 2 here. Nobody in the top lane right now, and
Yeah,
Cassia
Cassia-
making a beeline for that top shrine.
And she has to. This will be very close. I think Phoenix got this. Phoenix has this.
Has this unless Murden can leap in.
Unless
Oh, the
Murden
minions are
can
going to have something
oh.
to say about it.
Oh, the minions! This is so annoying. If you try to catch that Dragonite, the minions are distracting you.
The minions opting to give their team a little bit of help there.
MVP minions, because that would have been a Dragonite. Cassia was not there in time. The channel time of a Dragonite is only 3 seconds. Getting it back to neutral is 4 seconds. So Phoenix would have gotten that one.
And Hammer just kind of playing safe in the bottom, keeping an eye on that bottom shrine. Lubu opting to make some pressure here in the middle lane, which I agree with. They are down level 20s at the moment, as Zul'jin has just hit 20.
And this means they have to make a power play here. I
Yep.
mean, so Distillery they need to get the dragon now or a kill or something. They need to play this level 20. Because otherwise this game will basically be decided by the next team fight if they allow their opponents to get level 20.
Well, and here's what spells trouble for Lubu. Bottomless Flasks on Deckard Cain with a Sergeant Hammer.
Oh, the throw in.
Throw in. Leo's in trouble again. Alan Hicks barely getting out. Big stun from the Kael'thas there. Avatar popped to just eat some shots. Cassia did steal that bottom shrine back in their favor. Valkyrie on the Deckard Cain again.
Hero slain.
Glory blows up, but Deckard also falls.
Deckard
Oh,
falls as well. The
fantastic.
Ancestral actually lands on Kael'thas instead of the Muradin. I think that was just an unfortunate click. And this is trouble for Lubu.
And that's the vibe.
This is trouble for Lubu.
VDC is calling it already. So it is gonna be a dragon, that's for sure. Do they get enough time to defend this? I mean, this is a level 21 dragon on the side of Sujin, so they can basically walk through this fort here, keep in the bottom.
Yeah, at this point, you've got Hammer with the bottomless flask. You've got Garashi able to keep people away from her, and Dahaka. I think this, even if all
Lyric
of
will
Lu-
just die. No, he will get
Even
saved
if-
by the Dragon Knight.
yeah, even if all of Lubu comes back up, I don't think they're going to be able to stop that Hammer.
This looks grim indeed. So the
As the
thing
core health
from
starts
the core.
dropping down really quick.
VDC is coming out. The first one to call the GG. First one on the field. Hammer, drag, but it is too late.
So Zul'jin Distillery taking game number 1 here on Dragonshire. We are going to take a short break here. Possibly read a little bit more poetry since we didn't get to the other half of it. But as we get the information from Lubu on whether or not they're going to want to pick the next map or take the first pick, and as we set up game number 2, we will be back shortly. I closed out of that way too fast. We didn't get to look at the stats. I apologize, everybody. Yes, Grog, I am showing off that goal too. Welcome back, everybody. That is Team League. It is not Hero League. Welcome back. We are prepping here for game number 2. It is going to be on Tomb of the Spider Queen. It was picked by Lubu.
Again. No, wait, what? Didn't you say?
I'm sorry, Zul'jin Distillery
Yeah.
picking Tomb of the Spider Queen. Lubu taking first pick. Sorry, I am multitasking here. Lobby link.
Yeah. So I think that's a bold choice by Lubu to not go map pick. I personally, in my opinion, if you're one game behind, you want to go to a map you are comfortable with, because it's kind of a confidence thing, right?
Yeah.
So you just want to be like on your own turf. So them saying, we don't care, let's still go first pick. That's pretty interesting to me.
Yeah, now Lubu did pick Dragonshire in game number 1, so maybe they're trying to go a different tactic. Maybe they have Kerrigan up their sleeve and think she might slip through here. Not too sure. I don't think she will, but just in past history when we had a match against Zul'jin, I'm actually going to wait till the teams are in here before we dive into this, so that the delay doesn't give anything away. But we did wildcard weekend against Zul'jin was on Tomb of the Spider Queen, so I am aware of what they run on that map. Curious if it'll make it through. It does involve that one particular hero. Was Chad is correct. We are one game away from a major upset, although I wouldn't call any loss here in Division D East a potential upset. If everybody remembers looking at the bracket here, all these teams, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, were all fighting for the last 4 playoff spots up until the end of round 3, with wildcard weekend being won by Zul'jin here. And it was Mistakes Were Made who took the second place in wildcard weekend, putting them at number 8. So every team here, pretty much with the exceptions of Lubu and Wood League, who were in the 70 to 80% win range, everybody in Div East was in that 55 to 60% win range going into the playoffs. So I guess 20% is a good upset amount. But I wouldn't say that any team here is particular stones above the other.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to draw a line somewhere, it would be between Wood League and Lubu and the rest. But we just saw that even that line is not very thick one.
It's very
Can
blurry.
be easily crossed. I already see the chat here going between the two teams. We'll come back to that later.
Oh, we forgot the poetry duty.
Oh no, I have not forgotten it. I have it here on my screen.
Oh, well, excellent. Let's start with Zul'jin's other one. And to answer the question in chat, the maps bans were as follows for game number 1. Lubu did ban Volskaya Foundry. Zul'jin did ban Shrines, with Lubu picking Dragonshire, Zul'jin taking first pick on map number 1, and beating Lubu. So they lead 1-0 here as we go into game number 2. But we are going to knock out these nice little long poems here, but we will vote properly this time after the draft is done. So no worries, folks.
Alright. We are Zul'jin Distillery, roll in the artillery. We hope it's no surprise when Lubu meets its demise. Our first match was cheesy. This one will be easy breezy. Lubu is formulaic. Their drafting is archaic. There will be doom from the beginning. Wheels will just be spinning. Let's not be disrespectful or in any way neglectful. Lubu is a good team with a head full of steam, but these games are going to go exactly how we deem.
So Zul'jin really throwing the fire at that second poem. On the side of Lubu, it's "This is my poem. I don't expect it to be very good, but on Thursday we will show 'em a nice, generous game of Heroes of the Storm, TM. Last time we faced ZGD, the result was a tie. This was because we were both good teams, but in the end, only one team will die. Dies and eliminated from the playoffs, nothing dark. Nobody knows who, unless they are psychic. It could even be Lubu, and it's casted by Mystic. Oh, they suck up so much. Again, this is a poem. Original content."
Very nice. I like that one.
I do too. We are getting the final readies here.
I like the other one as well, of course. There was more poems. Yes, there was more poems. Don't get us started.
Okay, we've got the final readies. We are going to count this down here. 3, 2, 1. Captains are not set right. Now they are. Streakwing. And here we go.
So it is Tomb of the Spider Queen, and the teams they already chatted in our chat about the potential cheese going on here with the Morales. So both teams are very well aware of it.
So Lubu opening up with first ban here.
So and now coming back to that Kerrigan ban of
Okay.
of Zhu Jin.
So,
I mean, this might be the one
as I
where
was
it bites
telling you
them, right?
Off air there, Stitches, Nazebo, and Deckard Kane was the combo they ran on us in, I believe Deckard. I still may be wrong that on Tomb and Wildcard Weekend. So I'm curious what they're going to do this time around, not having the Stitches. Wouldn't surprise me to see Nazebo pulled out again, though. He's very strong on this map.
Oh yeah, he can. I wonder what place Kerrigan will take here in this draft. I think how they have shown that they don't like her, that they don't like to play her. Lubu will not ban her out, and
Sound
they don't.
test.
They take the
I see it
garage.
going off, but I don't hear anything.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Because I muted myself. I am a professional, ladies and gentlemen. Diablo, Stitches, and Garage as the first bands here. Nothing was muted except for my sound, unfortunately, thankfully. So at least I could still be heard. And
Great.
So Lubu forcing the Kerrigan ban onto Zul'jin Distillery again. That's not a surprise. So Tomb of the Spider Queen. Who do you tend to prioritize here?
I would have loved the Diablo. Besides that, I mean, there is an Asmodon open here,
It is.
which can be picked by Lubu right now.
The crusade
And
calls.
they go with Johanna, which is probably the best tank left here for this map.
Best tank left for the map. Safest opening pick. Not going to give anything really away with that.
But on the other side, it's also a very passive pick. I mean,
Yes.
there was some stuff open here which you might grab, like the Asmodon, for example, or one of the mages.
Leoric, and there's the Nazebo.
I mean, this makes it very interesting because now Asmodon plus Auto Attacker is open for Lubu, which makes a really strong combination with the Johanna. You get that Asmodon stacked so quickly with that. I wonder if I go for it.
Don't know. I don't recall them running much Asmodan throughout the season. Kel'Thas and Cassie again. Pretty set in their ways here early on.
Question is, will we see another hammer?
Oh man, entomb into wall with a hammer? That
I mean,
smells cheesy to me.
I mean, it's not out of the question here. They
No,
could
it's not.
still go for it.
Deckard Kane is gone though, so they're not taking Deckard this map or this time around here.
No.
Lubu, what are you gonna ban? What do you think they're gonna do?
There's still a tank question open for Zhu Jin, and they have taken out quite a few of them already, so there are not many left. They could ban out another tank here if they want to.
Phoenix. I like it. He put in some work on the last map. It looks like they're giving some respect bans here in game number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Which can work in your favor, and it can also backfire in your favor. I mean,
At least you know what you're dealing with if you let it through, right?
Yep. You know what you're dealing with, you let it through, but if you target ban like that, you leave some stuff open sometimes. But the timer coming down to the wire here, we've got Jimmy and Stukov. So Jim, Flamin' Head Raynor this time around. Stukov, that's who it was. It was not Deckard with the stitch. It was Stukov. It was a pull hook into a zombie wall into a silence. And they landed almost every single hook.
So it leaves the solo laner and support open now for Lubu.
And still the main tank coming out of Zul'jin. Dahaka and Whitemane. I have not seen Lubu on Whitemane personally. I didn't catch a chance to see how much they've run her. They are very, very familiar with Dahaka, so they're digging deep here. They know their playoffs are on the line.
Mm-hmm. It's a very small map to run at Dahaka, actually. So let's see how they can get value of that. And there's the Muradin. I think I would have loved to see Lubu like banning the Muradin in the third ban.
Yeah.
To limit the choices of potential. I mean, what is left then if you ban him out? I mean, what we're gonna do then? Playing an Uberak or something? I mean,
we might have seen the Tyrael.
yeah.
But no medevac, no Tyrael this time around. Early draft is here. Ladies and gentlemen, the chat, when that timer reaches 0, start putting in your votes for who is going to win round number 2.
Actually, it's on my side here. I just don't get how Asmodan gets through all these bans.
Yeah,
Plus,
me neither.
Joe makes sticking so easy. Exactly my words.
And this is a very powerful map for him. And
It
I
is.
don't remember if you were the one playing with us the other night or not, when we had all forts and keeps down, but we had the Asmodan. And we turned that map around. Post 20, no keeps, no forts, and Asmodan fully stacked, fully built for pushing. And he can turn a match around that quick in the late game.
Indeed. And on Tomb of a Spider Queen, especially if you have a Johanna in your team, you can stack him up so quickly. But they decided to go with the Kelfros instead, which is also a fine pick. So map clear is the most important on Tomb of a Spider Queen. Who do you think has a better clear here?
Better clear is gonna have to go to probably to the Nazebo. I mean, you've got Joe, you've got Kael'thas, who both have pretty good wave clear. But Nazebo can just rotate between those lanes very fast and effectively in the time it's going to take either one of them to clear a lane. But let's start with Zul'jin's roster here this time. Please, 2D.
Yes, we have Ladostar, Onward Stukov, Nutcracker on Nazebo, Cowboy Carl this time on Leoric, DeWitt on Muradin, and Befresh on Jimmy, and the Zul sprays are coming out.
We got the Garage sprays on the side of Lubu, and we've lost Streakwing immediately into this match, so we'll go ahead and knock out their roster. Streakwing by the Whitemane, on the Whitemane when he comes back. We've got Alan Hicks on Dahaka this go around. Bandit again on the Kael'thas, VDZ back on the Cassia, and Makoto on the Johanna. I'm actually, from what I know about Lubu, I'm a little shocked VDZ. I'm shocked they didn't use him to snag Nazebo early, knowing that Nazebo was run by Zul'jin. VDZ does play their Nazebo for them a lot.
It looks like they really wanted that Kelfors.
Yeah, I think so. We'll see how that works out for them.
So Lubu, they decided to go with the same damage line as they had on the last game. Okay, this time they are not facing a hammer. But I mean they're pretty confident. So apparently their takeaway from it was all hammer. We just play the same game on a different map without a hammer and we will win.
Yeah. So I do agree with the chat that the fact that Lubu has a little weaker wave clear could it potentially hurt Nazebo, as those minions are going to be pushing a little closer to Lubu's side. But it's going to really come down to whether or not Lubu can
And
win.
2-1 silence, that's nasty.
Whether or not Lubu can win this game pre-20. Especially if Nazebo's getting his stacks. I think if this game draws out to 20, it's going to swing very heavily into the favor of Zul'jin. If that combo they already have available at 10 between the Entomb, the Silence, the Zombie Wall, and the Stun, and then Hyperion on top of that, That team fights are going to be a little scary for Lubu. Especially if Whitemane's not able to stick close enough to actually deal any damage. If Whitemane's not going to be able to get her healing online, then that could spell some trouble for Lubu. I expect Whitemane to go with the armor ult at 10 on this one.
I got a vote against Nest despite him being our better brother too. Alright, so the vote is going. Coming back to wave clear, I wouldn't sneeze on Lubu's wave clear either. I mean, Kel'Thas, Johanna, we can basically clear up a wave pretty quickly as two. And if anything is left, Cassia can take care of it. So it's not too bad. If they do a solid 4-man rotation, I think they can keep up with the Nasibo.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to see them run a 4-1. Let Cassia just be the solo lane against Leo. She can hold her own against Steve. Let the other 4 rotate. Let's see, this is Tomb, so top and mid. Let Leo and Cassia hang out in the bottom. And Joe and Kel'Thas can keep the wave clear up quite evenly there. But here in the early voting, everybody's looking at Zul'jin for the upset. It's 80% to 20%. We're going to leave that open until the game does recommence here.
Maybe I shall give my vote here. I'm totally objectively voting. I'm voting for Lubu.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. 2D's vote after draft and everything is for Lubu.
Yeah, so it's I want the game free. That's an easy argument, right?
That too. Everybody is back. Readies are good.
You want me to
Alright.
count it in?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll have the button ready.
Oh no, I can't all chat.
Alright, I got it.
You
3,
have to do
2, 1. We are back in action. At least it happened before the game.
Yep. Also, probably will set a tweet in your 2D. It's empty. But it has quite a few percentages. So
So the final voting ends up 50 to 50 here.
yeah, Miss Trendsetter.
We're gonna close that out so that we can take a look at the opening talents here. We've got Dahaka going with Tissue Regeneration, Mana Addict from the Kel'Thas, Frog Build coming out of Nazebo, Third Wind on Muradin, so no quests from the Muradin besides as usual. Jimmy going with Ace in the Hole, and a big early fight here.
Oh yeah.
Both the tanks getting real low there.
5v5 clash in the middle.
And now the teams will separate. And it looks like
Actually, Kel'Thas is going bottom here.
3 of Lubu is heading bottom here. For a second there, I thought they might try to rotate and just get an early pick. Wouldn't have been a bad tactic.
It looks like they want to run a 2-1-2, which is ambitious, usually, if you do that.
think
Now they
they're
are
just-
changing it up.
I think Kel'Thas is just trying to get those globes as fast as he can. Zul'jin's fine with that. They're going to keep doing their 4-1. Kel'Thas is just going to keep rotating between mid, but Jimmy dropping low there this time. Vernon at about half health. And really, I'd like to see Zul'jin
keep it.
very close, 400 health on DeWitt. I actually would like to see Zul'jin take advantage of the early split that Lubu had going, especially with the Whitemane. She is very mana hungry those first 3 levels till she gets her recovery, but Dahaka in trouble in the top line. There's the wall. Alan Hicks going to have to blow his essence, and he's barely going to get out of there. He's just going to run the Hearth on out.
Nice dodge on the zombie wall here by Alan Hicks. A second big dodge fish he shows us in this game so far. So yeah, Lubu running a pretty interesting rotational scheme here. Very dynamic.
It's paying off a bit. Kel'Thas is already at 7 globes here at the 2.5 minute mark. Make that 8. The win getting low again. This level 4 is online first for Lubu.
Indeed, they have a slight advantage in XP here.
It just swung
Now
in
they
the
are
favor.
making another rotation into the bottom. Cowboy Kyle finds himself under constant pressure from these rotations coming in by the Calfors.
So they've pulled back even to XP. We do have the Clemency build coming out of White Mane. 2 stacks of tissues for Kalthos. We've got 44 on Ritual already, 11 of the 40 on Pandemic. And DeWitt is low on health in that top lane now.
Yeah, he barely made it out of there with another 2 outdoors. Was
Kalthos
not
taking an
far.
early camp here. He is out of mana, pretty much. But Zul'jin not sniffing it out. Both teams have a little bit of a turn in here. About even on that. Nobody knowing Kalthos is gone. He's just going to Hearthon out of there safely. So Leo's going to have to deal with some early giants.
I like how Lubu is playing with so far. They are playing very confident. They have a very obscure rotational pattern, but it seems to work out for them. They are not missing out on so that much, and they do get a camp even in as well. So it's very strong so far. What we are doing here, I like it.
It's a constant battle for that top turn in. I'm actually surprised Lubu's not kind of rotating people out and dropping these gems off. They're only 10 away now. They've got 15 in the pocket. 9 of those on Dahaka. So it looks like he's going to finish his first turn in here. So we are going to have our first spiders coming in. Good job by Lubu holding down the fort in the top and middle lane. First spiders coming online. The lanes are pushed pretty even though, so I don't think these early 4-minute spiders are going to do too terribly much. Maybe a gate, maybe some towers, and whatever lane Lubu chooses to push.
Yeah, it is a very early turn in, so it is a little bit weaker as if you would like have kept your gems for a little bit longer. It's also quite questionable if they can get a second turn in off the first one that early in the game.
Your world is
With
upside
Joe
down.
falling back to her, Dahaka just kind of shrub soaking. Cassie and White Mane pushing down middle. Kalthos pushing against Leo in the bottom lane. Top spider is already down. Bottom lane doing a little bit of work, and its middle one is down there now, so they're rotating bottom. So as predicted, looks like towers and gates out of middle. Gate and 1 tower coming down in the bottom lane. And Lubu, I like how they're set up here. They're waiting for that rotation.
Yeah, but Zul'jin, they are not giving it to them.
Nope,
They're
Zul'jin.
still the sole defender of the bot lane.
My only concern here is Lubu's hanging out in bottom, and Zul'jin's got enough to turn in once his spider dies. There is a little bit of what I believe 10-second cooldown between turn-ins.
Yeah, there is, but
There's one.
so they do get the fort on the bottom.
Yeah, they do get the bottom fort. There's one disadvantage coming out. Oh, Dahaka's going to come in a bad spot there.
Oh, he gets a drag, but gets silenced in return and stun.
So, I'd call that first a 4-minute spider getting 1 fort and 4 towers pretty successful. The only downside of that is it pushed the lane so deep here early on that Zul'jin's sitting at 67 gems.
Indeed. So Zul'jin, they of course have to look now for the first for their own first turn in. Lubu right now is busy goal posting these objectives. But I mean, if they can pick up their camp, they would also have pretty close to level 10, which would give them a nice defense against the enemy web weavers, which will come sooner or later anyways.
So checking in on the quests here as the teams are. Lubu's about halfway to 10. But DeWitt's sitting there at 33 gems. That's going to be 83 total gems on the side of Zul'jin. Lubu's going to have to get a pick here and get some of these gems off of them. Doing a good job driving out the Muradin, and Lubu very quick to defend these points here.
You know, actually, if Lubu gets the level 10 soon, and they can go with this turn-in. So the level 10 and the turn-in is aligning pretty well for them.
And
If
Zul'jin
they
opting
can
just
delay
to
a
put
little
as
bit
many
longer.
people as they can turning in. Lubu can only hit so many at once. Muradin isolated at the moment. That's Dukov Silence doing a good job keeping the White Mane at bay. She's going to go ahead and drop her ult. Already dropping Scarlet Aegis there. taking advantage of that level 10.
Oh,
Big
there's a
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie.
Oh, Jimmy is going to get blasted by the Phoenix. Verda's going to have to hop out. Zoljin falls first, so first blood here in favor of Lubu, and they're looking strong here early on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
They should be able to secure the turn in here now, even though their enemies are turning in the top, but they do have exactly the right amount they needed here between Bandit and Alan Hicks to get the 55 gems in.
So let's see how they enter here. Zoljin about to grab their level 10s. So with that happening, as the spiders are descending, let's look at Lubu's. They've got Scarlet Aegis, Isolation, Phoenix, Valkyrie, which we've already seen used very well, and Falling Sword coming out of Johanna.
Yeah, that's uncommon.
Everything all kinds
Alright,
of
so
buttons.
we're gonna see some hyper-aggressive Johanna ultimates here. On the other side we have Reyna's Raider, Avatar, Gargantuan on the Nasibo, and the Massive Show for Stukov, and Entomb, of course, for the Auric.
So I wonder if they're going to utilize that Johanna ultimate to get to that backline and interrupt Stukov.
Yeah, on that Massive Show. I mean, he's rooting himself. I personally don't like that ult that much. But it works out there.
There goes Kelthos all the way to his own fort, but Murden
Eating
dies
my
in the
birds
process.
Immediately. Oh, it was Murden who died. Oh, well. There you have it. This is why it's a bad ulti, guys. Murden dies if you do that.
Yeah, chat noticing Nazebo already sitting at 118 stacks. We're 9 minutes into this. So
Indeed.
Zoljin doing a good job getting the Nazebo stacked.
So, second wave of Weavers is done. So what did they get from it? They almost secured the fort on the top. It will die now to Kelfos. They did get towers in mid, I think, and pretty much nothing in the bot lane.
Here
So
comes the Zoljin turn in.
I'm not sure that was the amount of value they were hoping for Lubu in that second turn in.
So this at least going to get some lane pressure cleared up for Zoljin. Good news on their side is it looks like they have 33-27. Looks like they have almost enough to turn around and do an immediate second turn in here at this point. So Lubu opting to clean up bottom lane first when the Spider Queens are dropping there in the top lane. Or not top lane, sorry, middle lane, right up on their wall.
Yeah, I was also surprised by that. So the mid wall should fall. Normally, yeah.
Taking the smart option, rotating top. The Queen had to push a little farther, but they are burning through these things incredibly fast.
Actually, they are secure. They defend one tower in the mid, and they lose a fort in the top. So,
We've
oh,
lost
there's
Street Queen.
another
Street
disconnect
Queen
here.
So that's unfortunate. That's a big momentum killer right there. But it could work both ways.
It could. Whiteman is actually in trouble here in the middle, in the mid lane. Will be hard to save out of that one. Maybe if Bandit has like a gravity lapse available. So what is chat saying? So Jin is in a rough spot. If they can clear without losing their gems and then get their own double turn and they can get back bro.
Yeah, two good options there coming out of chat. The other one suggesting Zoljin hold on to their gems, get the Zebo stacked up, get to that late game, and then get the double turn in back to back. And that's very dangerous late in the game. That top spider is still sitting at about half health as it's going to be nearing those towers too in the top lane.
Yeah, it can certainly take out one or two towers there. And that will be a big chunk of XP which would go over to Zoljin. And as Chad mentioned, they do have, and as you also mentioned, they do have enough gems for this from the next turn, and Lubu does not. So Lubu went with it early turn-ins, but they did not get enough value to completely snowball the game here.
Yeah, not yet. And something else to keep in mind is this is the second of the 3 pauses that Lubu has had used. I don't know if it's per player or per team. I think it's per team. So
Yeah,
hopefully
actually.
Streakwing can come back and stay connected here. Throw the bracket back up while we're waiting on this. So definitely a game that started out strong for Lubu, and Zul'jin's kind of clawed their way back into this. They're only down about half a level at this point, and they're nearing those the Zebo sitting there at already 146 of the 175 he's going to need for level 20. So that is definitely going to make finishing this before 20 a top priority for Lubu.
Yeah. So let's have a maybe. Let's have a quick look here at XP. Actually, pretty even. Of course, there's more structure XP on the side of Lubu, but that's, I mean, I like to call it credit. Structural XP advantage, it's only credit. It only works out in the end if you actually win the game with it.
So we're still waiting on Streakwing here. It's been about 3 or 4 minutes now. I believe in the playoffs it gets bumped back to 15 minutes.
Yeah, it is. This is tense. It is. Like camping.
So just gonna double check our time here for the playoffs.
It's 15 minutes.
It is 15 minutes in playoffs? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, never mind, I will close that. So it looks like Streakwing actually having more issues with heroes than he is the internet. But Alan is suggesting that they be good sports. And let
He's
White Man
already
live.
dead.
No mercy.
Yeah. Now let's see if there's something going on. Oops, in the chat here. I haven't seen yet.
Should we let Twitch chat decide if he lives?
There's fair.
I'll have to let VDZ know. That's actually only a 2-minute delay.
Oh yeah, but I mean, they would see it now. Well, but for the viewers, it would be a 4-minute delay.
Yeah, roughly. Is it 15 total pause time? Or 15 per pause? I think he's right. It was about 2 or 3 minutes on the first one. They're sitting at about 5 on this one. I believe Hector is right. It is for the entire set of pause duration.
It's on the loading screen now.
It doesn't come
Hey,
up.
what's happening?
very
Is
much.
like the whole game crashing? I hope the series doesn't end in a forfeit from internet issues. Yeah,
To
we
let the
all
chat
hope
know,
that.
he had to actually restart Heroes. It doesn't. He was still in their chat and everything the last time he disconnected. So it sounds like it was more of a Heroes crash than it was
Yeah.
an internet crash. So that's unfortunate.
I think Lubu could get a sub for game 3.
They actually only have a roster of 5. They don't want to resort to that out of team sub here going into game 3. You know it's going to get denied.
It also would mean that they have to win a game with an AI first.
Yeah, that too.
Statistically speaking, Zul'jin has the win because all of the Division D's playoff games have been 2-0.
All right, they are ready. 3, 2, 1. Pause break.
And White lane is going to survive. Actually, where is the counter
Oh, what a
engaged
good
by
turnaround
Lubu
there.
now?
Very nice turnaround by Lubu on that fight. I guess they had to use that whole pause to plan it.
Yeah. Like everybody is speaking to streaking. Okay, when you're back in the game, just smash all the buttons on your keyboard because you're really in trouble.
So the total amount of pause time cannot exceed 15, so I will have to give them a heads up that they have 5 minutes. But look at that top spider almost taking down the keep.
Yep. And it will be a very close call actually on that keep.
So that's going to give Zul'jin the time they need to get that bottom turning coming up here soon, and Lubu's going to have to book it down there.
Yeah. And I'm very worried about Lubu because there will be the next turn in here, and that top keep is already so low, and the lane is pushed kind of in. So if Zul'jin wants that one, they can have it. They could just put 5 people up there.
They're going to up to push in middle, which I like that call because I know Lubu's going to have to stop that top lane one first.
Yeah.
Well, Lubu's going to make the rotation down. A little hesitantly there.
And this is where credit comes in, because now we see the same XP in structural damage. Even in lead now for Zul'jin. But in total it's even. Yet.
Good Valkyrie though. Down goes Stukov very quickly.
Yeah.
So Lubu doing the smart thing here, going to finish the spider first.
And that is such an important kill for Lubu, that they get a little bit of momentum here in this defense, because it looks like they are going to lose the bottom 4 tier to the spiders. So that was a really important kill, so that they do not lose too much map control here.
Yep, here we go as this final objective here is wrapping up. Lubu is sitting now behind an XP by only about a quarter of a level though. Zul'jin looking like they're going to rotate bottom, going to take camps, and Lubu has the turn in. I think they should just go ahead and use it. They need to get these waves pushed back.
Yep.
But that's one thing the spiders can definitely do, at least buy you some time till you can get the map back in your control.
And there are towers dying in the bottom lane, however, to this massive wave which is
Yeah.
crashing in here.
So Lubu gets the turn in, they're all hearthing back. Looks like they're
And
just
this is actually even threatening the keep.
That's exactly, they're headed right there.
Besides putting the spider soul back, but it barely gets any value. Oh, I like what Zul'jin is doing here.
Me too. They're just going to skip right by that spider. They know they've got the advantage on the top. Down goes that keep. So there's 16 to 15 here, 1 level difference, almost even.
You know, it makes me wonder, maybe it would have been better for Lubu to just delay their turn-in, because they're not getting anything out of this turn-in.
Yeah, they made such a dive for that bottom lane there when they knew the top lane really needed to be the one pushed back. I mean, I get the idea. They don't want to give Zul'jin the chance to get that third turn in. They could have delayed it a bit, but it at least gets the middle and bottom waves pushed back in their favor. It gives them some time to clean up top. But that top lane now is a ticking time bomb here, especially with a Nazebo to back it up.
Yeah. And now I feel like Lubu needs to win here with this last web weaver.
Oh, another big
Where's the
Valkyrie.
drag? That's
Big
a good
stun to
start.
Johanna coming out of the air, getting a kill, double kill from the Kael'thas. There goes the Nazebo, there goes the Yorick. Burden dropping lows. Lubu is pushing hard, and I agree. They need this keep.
They needed to make a play, and this is exactly what they're doing. They are dropping the skip. I mean, this should fall. There's no way Zul'jin can defend that one. Where it goes.
They're going to keep the aggressive play up, stopping right there on the camp. Dahaka's heading to top lane to clean up those catapults. And a straight lightning bolt, possibly giving away where they're at, but Zul'jin doing the smart thing, just going to back up. It's got to go through that middle fort anyways.
And you know what? In the draft I said, but it is a really small map to play the Harker. Maybe they knew that they're gonna lose the keep early because he's getting some mad value right now.
Yes, he is getting some value now.
So both teams are sitting on roughly 50 to 40 gems. So this will be a very close race here for the turn-in. Also, Lubu needs 5 more than their opponents.
Yep.
So it's basically equal here.
So Lubu backing off safely.
That mid fort is really low, and if they take that one down, it would be basically equal in structures.
And I like how Lubu turned that Entomb against Zul'jin there in that bottom fight. The Entomb came out and Johanna said, okay. Jumped into the air, came back down on the other side of the Entomb and trapped Leo and Nazebo in their own ultimate there. And it got cleaned up very nicely. So both teams kind of sitting at a little bit of a stalemate here. They've got catapults pushing in top lane for Zul'jin, bottom lane for Lubu.
Yep.
And they're kind of hiding from each other there. You saw Lubu go check that boss.
They do, but in the meantime, Lubu can clear out the minions in the top. But wait a second, we have an Entomb going here. Flamethrower is coming out.
Silence on the Kael'thas there is going to cost him his life.
But the drag on the Zebo, he falls so low, but Cassie cannot secure the kill because of the ice block.
Oh, she's going to get it. The Zebo's down, but Johanna goes down as well. So 2 for 1 here, and Cassia's in trouble. There's a root from the silence. And Lubu did not need that, but look at that bottom lane there. There are 3 catapults on that core. That's going to be enough pressure, possibly to pull Zul'jin back. As the shield is now down.
And that is why it was so nice for Lubu to keep the positioning on the top lane. They were able to clean out the catapults while the bot catapults were stacking up in their favor.
Going crazy here, but they are taking boss in the top lane.
They do. It's kind of it looks ambitious to do it with only 3, but they did get the 3 kills. Lyric is able to clear out the catapults. So this camp they took, I like that because it will secure the mid fort, most likely.
Lubu's not going to sniff this out in time.
I'm sure they know about it. They just also know that they can't do much about it.
And I believe Zul'jin has enough for the turn-in.
They're stacking it.
This spells trouble here.
Nasiba is still in the bot lane, so they do have a 5v4 here. There's the drag.
One, they need to win quick. Johanna coming in. Dahaka very low. Down goes Dahaka. Boss is still pushing. Spiders are right behind it. Lubu's going to have to burn this thing very, very fast.
Morden is still alive. He was able to jump out. So now they have a little bit of time to get the boss clear here. But Zul'jin is moving in. This will be a very rough defense.
Core down. Core shield is down.
Boss is falling. Boss is down. But core is...
Cassia goes
82%.
down. Murden goes down. We got bloodshed everywhere. Core is only at 80%. Down goes Johanna, and now Zul'jin has the numbers advantage. That core is dropping fast.
That was
Very
well
well
played by
played.
Zul'jin. They're bringing it back.
So GG
And
to
domination
Zul'jin.
over opponents.
Dynasty Zul'jin Distillery, sorry. Pulling the upset there at the very end with a great timing on the boss and the turn-in. Very nicely done. So they come out of the wild card swinging, and they throw some big punches here, and they knock off number 2 Lubu to move on into the second round. Tootie, I'm going to see if I can get DeWitt into the chat if you want to give a quick review of the stats here, and I will update our bracket as well.
Yes, of course. So you see the stats. Kefris is of course pretty high in the damage, also in the siege department here. Besides that, we see Raynor with a lot of damage on the side of Zul'jin. But I think the more important part was actually like the strategic decisions Zul'jin had. Lulu just not able to get enough value from the double turn in the beginning. And then when this did not happen, I mean, once Suljin got a foot on the map with that first turn, and it started to swing around pretty heavily in their favors. Lubu, they did get an overturn in, but not much value out of it. Maybe they should have saved that one for later.
I
But
agree
they
with
did make
that.
a big play actually on the keep bottom, but it was not enough.
No, and Lubu maybe even taking that very first one a little too early.
Yeah.
So all of round one here going in the swing of a 2-0 domination in the best of threes. So here's a look at the final score screen. Here is 2-0 in the favor of Zul'jin. I am messaging DeWitt. Tell him to go to, what lobby do we have open?
Oh, there are plenty.
Let's stick to 5. That's my favorite. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's the updated bracket. Round number 2 is going to consist of Wood League number 1 versus number 4 United East in the top half of the bracket. The winner of that match next week will play Zul'jin Distillery, the number 7 wildcard team, or the winner of the other match from last night. That was Jimmy, the number 3 team. So, looking at these final 4 teams here, from what you've seen this week, who looks strongest to get to that final division final there?
Oh, that was something I was just thinking about. I think it's a really tough question because I have seen most of these games. I mean, I've casted 3, but I have not followed United East versus Banjo super closely. But I do know that Wood League, Suljin, and that was Jimmy. They have all shown a pretty strong show. So that is I think it's completely open. That's very, 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 very tricky.
I agree. I think Wood League has the advantage over United East in the top. I believe they played earlier this season. I don't remember the outcome of it. But Wood League is definitely the favorite at the moment. Of course, they are the number 1 seed. But United East, if they play Wood League like they did Bancho the other night, I could see an upset coming out there. And Zul'jin's just looking very strong right now. So is Jimmy, though. So Zul'jin and Jimmy next week should be a very, very entertaining match, as should the other one. D East has been very entertaining all year with their matches.
It's on fire.
It's spicy. So I'm still trying to get DeWitt into the lobby here.
Yeah. So I was actually expecting a pretty close match between Lubu and Zul'jin. It's really so. I'm a little bit surprised about the 2-0. I was expecting going the full length here. So yeah, congratulations to Zul'jin for showing such a dominant performance.
I'm disappointed not a single one in the first round going to 3 matches. I actually honestly thought with as close as the standings were going into the playoffs, that at least 2 or 3 of these would have been the full best of 3 series.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with as many of these teams that drew against each other during the initial season.
Yeah, like Zul'jin and Lubu, right?
Zul'jin and Lubu drew. Jimmy and Vikings drew. DeWitt is on his way. He's bringing a teammate. They are definitely celebrating. I don't know if you're looking at the Division D chat there. This is their 3rd season. The first season they've made it through the first round of the playoffs, and they did it as the number 7 seed. So be sure to tune in, ladies and gentlemen, later to the Cat Peach. I believe it is Cat Peach GG.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to be hosting the first match for Division D West that's kicking off tonight, and it is a massive 9 p.m. Pacific time start between... I wrote it down. Hello, Zul'jin. Give us 1 second here.
Hey, no problem.
Hey,
I did not write it down, Tootie. I believe it's Lightly Salted and Bone Boys for the opening up Division D West play.
Oh, I can look it up for you.
I believe that is right. So Jin Distillery. Boy, you
Hey,
guys
hey.
just come out swinging straight out of the wild card there.
Yeah, I think so.
How do y'all feel?
Yeah, it feels good to win those games. This is our third season, first time we made it through the first round of playoffs, so
Yeah, so
pretty
I
pumped
was
about it.
looking at that in the chat there, and you took down one of the big dogs. Unfortunately, Lubu
Yeah,
started out very strong this season, and I understand they had to deal with Florence and some other things, so they faltered here towards the end, and then finally, into the season, unfortunately, they weren't able to pull it out. And Tootie and I were just talking about, we're a little disappointed in Div D East because we expected at least most of these to go to 3 games. And so far, every one has been a 2-0, as close as the bracket was earlier in the here at the end of the season.
yeah, I can't say I was expecting it to be 2 games because I thought it'd be a little bit. I kind of thought we'd each take a game and then have a game 3, but I was hoping this would happen, obviously. But I want to say up front that Lubu is a really good team, and it's their first season, so I mean, hopefully they stay together and come back next season and give us another run, or we give them a run. I guess they were the favorite, so.
Yeah. Lubu, 4 of the 5 of that team have known each other since middle school, so hopefully that's not the amateur Heroes of the League tournament isn't enough to break that 15-year-old friendship up. Of crazier things have happened. But let's dip into game number 1.
We're done here.
Let's dip into game number 1. The Sergeant Hammer pick. You guys had a plan going into that one.
So Kyle is our Sergeant Hammer expert here.
You've got my respect. My original maid.
We had a little bit of different roster this wild card and during this playoff round, with Ankle Shot out on vacation. So we thought we'd just kind of mix it up and throw in some different heroes that maybe the other teams hadn't seen yet. But we pulled some of those comps out in wild card weekend. I will say we were considering Stitches, but it did get banned twice. So.
Especially going into game number 2, but we'll get to that in a minute now.
Yeah.
I was very well done getting this, setting things up to get that hammer late in that first draft, and Lubu kind of putting themselves in a bind where they couldn't really take a good counter with that last pick because they still needed a solo later.
Right.
Yeah,
she's
for sure.
Yeah. She's pretty hard to counter once you get late in the draft. So if you don't know it's coming, it can really bite you.
And of course, you pulled out the Deckard Kane hammer.
Yeah, it kind of feels bad, like throwing somebody into a stun with Deckard there and Hammer just laying into him.
And of course, at 20, getting those potions, y'all just were able to just sit on that core and clean up the rest of the match there. But Lubu put up a good fight. They actually started turning things around on you guys there once level 10 came online. They had the good Valkyries. They had the Pyroblast too. They at least had 2 ults that would make Hammer blow her unstoppable or her shield or an armor pretty quickly. And they capitalized on it a few times, but you guys held on strong.
Yeah, both games they almost beat us with Valkyries.
Yeah.
Those Valkyries were on point.
VDZ getting some very nice Valkyries in both those games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's almost I didn't want him to. I've seen he's been playing Kerrigan lately. I didn't want him on that, but I don't know. Maybe it'd be better than the Valkyrie cast. Yeah.
I think in the end you took the better route on the ban though, because Kerrigan gets rolling. She's really hard to stop right now. We'll see if that changes come next Wednesday.
Yeah.
But so schedule your game early if you want to take advantage of Kerrigan, folks, because balance patch should be hitting next Wednesday.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
So let's
Maybe schedule after that.
Unfortunately, I don't think we've seen any Brightwing here in the first round, Tootie.
Yes.
Did y'all have it?
Wait, so it sounds like I'm a freshman player here.
Well, I mean, just as far as being the other reworked here, I don't recall seeing Brightwing in any of the games.
No, I think a lot of teams consider her fairly weak, which is which is interesting.
They haven't played polymorph build.
Yeah. So yeah, also
It's it.
from my side, congratulations to Suljin.
Definitely.
You had a pretty good going here tonight, and also you are the only lower seeded team which beats the higher seeded team in this first playoff round.
Yes, you are.
If you noticed.
So we won't keep y'all too much longer here, but we do have to touch on base on game number 2. Lubu started out really strong. They did get a really early spider turn in. How did y'all feel with the 4-minute spider turn in coming out of Lubu?
We had more gems. We wanted to turn in, but they were zoning us really well. They had a much better zoning team composition than we had. So not much we could really do except for, just not die. So that
Yeah, not
I was just
die.
saying that the whole time after they turned in. I was like, "Don't die, don't die, don't die," and then I get picked by that Valkyrie. But my guys picked up the gym, so it's fine.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
early in that encounter too, they decided to send the Kael'thas down to deal with the Lork down in bot lane too, and that's just not a matchup the Leo can really deal with early on. He's just going to keep chunking the damage, so they were just able to keep what they were doing at the top lanes while I was just getting pushed in. That was big for them.
Definitely. They did manage with a 4-minute push. I believe they got the fort in that first turn in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they actually got a fort on the first one, and they got nothing on the second one.
Yeah. But I think
which was interesting.
The big moment out of game number 2, 2D, he's probably going to agree with me, is that very last turn in. You guys bought enough time, got enough kills to get the 3-man boss turn in, and had enough gems to turn in right along with it. And
well, shout out to Kyle here, because I was telling him, once it was, I think, 18 to 19 on level. I don't remember who was ahead, but I think they were going to get 20 before us. So I was just kept telling him to find an entomb somewhere. Just spooky walk and entomb whoever you can get.
Yeah, and you got a very nice pick in that top lane. The fight
Yeah,
went
got
kind
the
of even.
Kael'thas.
Y'all walked away with a little bit more health and a little more time on your hands. And thanks to the catapults pushing in that top lane with you. Snagged the boss, snagged the turn in right behind it, and credit to Lubu, they burned that boss down very, very quick. They even, I believe, took out Murden.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was... Yeah. They had so much burst, it was nuts. I was just standing there like, it's fine, and then I was dead.
So,
I had my abilities, I just didn't think I needed to use them.
yeah, no, but the timing on that worked very well to y'all's advantage. 2D and I both were sitting there going, if they can at least get this boss pushed in long enough to let the spider follow up behind it, that should be it. And you made it work. Close, but you made it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2D, you got anything else, bud?
No, I'm actually, I think I'm fine. Congratulations again. I think you played it really well on the second map. I mean, the first one was all hammer show. I mean, it was pretty nice to see. Also, like after 10, you still made it work somehow against the heroics. And on the second map, it was really nice to see that you like keep your calm, keep your cool, like when they get the double turn in the beginning, and especially like how you defended the second one. So yeah.
So
I think the second game was really a strong showing by Suchin, especially because they weathered the storm in the early game. So
definitely. So I've got to pull this question on y'all. I did it to United East and Bench the other night when they won. They're going to be facing Wood League in the top bracket. Who do y'all want out of that matchup if you win your match next week against Jimmy?
Let's see. Who is Wood League playing?
They're gonna be playing
I watched the
United
game, but I
East.
already forgot.
Wood League and United East playing in the top bracket next week.
I'm not one of those guys who's like, yeah, bring on the challenge. So if we can get an upset, I think Wood League's really strong right now. So if United East can pull it out, I think I'd prefer to play them.
Yeah, I think I agree.
They're still a good team, but
Yeah, I agree. I like that. We've already pulled our upset. It's somebody else's turn.
Yeah.
But y'all do face That Was Jimmy coming up next week. I believe y'all already played them. I believe it was a draw. Did I see that
I
right
get
earlier?
them. I think they might have dominated us. I can't remember if it was them or the Found Vikings, but
Yeah, I can't remember either.
Let me see.
You
I
remember
have it
what week you
open
played them
here.
in?
You lost against That Was Jimmy.
Oh, well, that
Yeah.
answers that question. So revenge is on the table for
It
Zul'jin
is.
Dynasty.
Yeah.
Or Distillery, sorry. Here again.
well, it's a dynasty now. we're starting that up.
Yeah, third season. So
Yeah.
So, congratulations, boys. Best of luck to you the rest of the way. We'll see you against That Was Jimmy next week. Once again, everybody, a reminder that Division D West is finally kicking off their playoffs tonight with Lightly Salted versus Vone Boys, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. D Witt, Cowboy Kyle from Zul'jin joining us here. Once again, good luck, boys. Enjoy the rest of your night. Go celebrate a little bit.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks for casting us. Thanks, Lubu. You're a good team. Keep it up.
Oh, I forgot. Any other shout outs, boys?
I want to say that our poetry was better. But yeah, other than that, no, just shout outs to the rest of our team. They show up every time we need them to show up, and we come back, we kick ass. So
Well done.
Yeah.
I will-
Shout out to Ankle Shot on vacation.
If you
Yeah.
really must know the chat, the way we did it, we had the chat vote for who was going to win Game 1 based purely on the poetry. They picked Lubu.
Oh.
Game
Oh,
1.
snap.
But
Well,
they,
Lubu told us. I think VDZ said that they thought we won the poetry. So.
so, well done. Go enjoy your night, boys. Tootie and I got to wrap this up here.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
take care.
Take care. So, any final thoughts there, Tootie?
Bring it on. I mean, so far, Division D East playoffs are so much fun. I can't wait for next week when the next two games are starting, and I think it will be. I mean, so far we haven't seen like super close games because none of them has gone to game 3. But I'm pretty sure like next week will be on fire because all 4 teams are looking really, really good right now.
I agree. I wouldn't say they weren't close in the sense of because even in the 2-game series, as all the teams from what I saw, now I did miss the Win League mistakes for made game, but all teams did put up a very, very good fight. It is unfortunate we didn't get any game 3s though. That makes the bracket not look quite as close as it really was.
Yeah.
But that's all she wrote, folks. Tootie, thanks for joining me tonight. We are your Division D
Thanks
East
for having me.
playoff casters this time, and we decided to team up for the night. So, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your night. Tootie, we'll check in next week when we have everybody's matches schedules. Have a good night,
Indeed.
everybody.
Good night.